Speaking of a nation polarized and against itself,
Boris Johnson.
yeah.
He has support of 2/3 of Tory voters, even though I think he lost the debate personally. It looks like he's going to be the new Prime Minister of Britain. So,
Yeah, no big surprise coming there. I mean, doesn't matter. I don't think that debate was going to change anything.
no. Yeah,
We'll
so
see. Boris says he can get the British out of the EU with a favorable trade agreement.
I foresee a no deal coming
Yeah, I
with Boris
cannot
Johnson
wait
as the
to see
PM.
Boris just screw his country
I
over.
mean, he said he's not as scared of a no deal as long as you prepare for it. I don't know what you could do to prepare that border, but
Well, when he talked about
technology. We just have technology. That's it.
we'll stop the troubles on the Northern Irish border with technology. Okay.
Yeah.
I bet what they're gonna do is when the Irish in Northern Ireland get upset because they left the EU and that the border situation between Ireland and Northern Ireland is probably not going to be worked out even by then. So when
Mm-hmm.
the Irish get upset and the IRA and the Scots-Irish Protestants start fighting again, I bet Boris will just come down with a super heavy hand and not actually address the problem. Hard on crime, hard on terrorism, but we don't like looking for solutions to the problem. We don't
Mm-hmm.
like fixing them. We only like
He
putting them
strikes
down.
me as a drug war type of guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But he's
I
fairly socially liberal as well on some things.
well, yeah, this is European politics.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a really hard line party, most European politicians are pretty socially liberal on some things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, when they were talking, didn't they talk about their own healthcare system? And I can't remember. 'Cause didn't watch the debate like what, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, weren't they on about healthcare and that not the system wouldn't fundamentally be changed or anything like that? You wouldn't have any
Mm-hmm. I
problems.
mean, you couldn't make it in British politics in attacking their healthcare system.
I
You
know
just wouldn't make
it's
it.
it's kind of weird how now that the Americans want a good healthcare system, they're
It's
just
just
like, no,
it's
impossible.
a similar thing to the Eisenhower. It's like if you oppose the New Deal, then you have no place in American politics, type of thing. Because once it's implemented, it's so popular. I feel like the same thing would happen with an American universal
Hmm.
healthcare system. Once it's there, it
Yep.
would be impossible to get rid of because it's so popular.
That's the thing, though. That's why the Republicans and even the Democrats are fighting it tooth and nail.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because they're beholden to the same industries that this will fundamentally
Oh,
change
Biden.
forever.
Biden's really in on those insurance lobbyists.
Yeah, that's why his Biden cares just like Obamacare. He doesn't want it to get any. He
Yeah,
doesn't want
does
that
he? Is there
change.
even a public option in Biden care, or is it just an expansion of Medicare and Medicaid?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. I doubt it.
I don't. There's probably a weak public option in there, but just like Obama's going to get negotiated out of. So,
Hmm.
in an attempt to win over some Republicans who are never going to vote for him because his name is Joe Biden. So,
I know, despite him being a pretty moderate centrist Republican, is because he's got a D next to his name, and he was the VP for the ever hated
I feel like he thinks of
Obama.
himself like LBJ, but he's not.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. But hold on. Yeah, I don't see any
No public option.
public option.
Washington State is getting a public option. It's a fairly weak public option, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, or Washington State is a super liberal state, but at the same time, it's still mired in the same problem that
Man,
affects
Inslee
politics
really
today.
wanted a strong public option because that would help his presidential bid, but he just couldn't get the votes.
Yeah, poor
I
Jay.
mean, if you got a referendum on the ballot, we could probably in this state pass a universal healthcare system in the state.
That really is going to depend entirely on how that healthcare plan is presented.
This is such a
Because
no. I think that it would pass here.
you think, I don't know. Like, I feel like hopefully we're not stupid enough to be like, oh, universal health care? Sign me up. I'm not gonna read it. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
that
look
would.
into it at all. I just know that's
We
cool.
had one that we tried to get on the ballot, and I think it was the midterms, but it didn't get on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every fucking law that comes out of Washington State always has a caveat to it.
That's
Like,
true.
the gun reform law that got passed, which I personally didn't agree with,
Mm-hmm.
because the bill was so open-ended that, the gun owners' fears of, them just banning certain weapons outright and stuff like that. Because,
I think banning assault weapons is the dumbest thing.
yeah, that kind of stuff, while not explicitly stated,
Mm-hmm.
was also not explicitly stated that wouldn't happen.
I mean,
There's always wiggle
assault
room.
guns are not the most dangerous guns. Handguns are. So I mean, what's the point of banning assault guns? I think
Yeah, it's like, oh no,
background checks,
we took
closing
assault
some
rifles out of the
loopholes.
hands of criminals. It's like,
That's all.
so
That's all I
what?
want
They're
to
gonna
do.
get a 9 with a fucking 30 round
That's.
extendo and do the same shit they've been doing.
Mm-hmm. All I
That's
wanted
not
was
how
some
you solve
background
the
checks.
problem.
Some background checks and like closing some loopholes. That's it.
Yeah, as
That's
much
the
as gun
extent I want to
shows
go
are
on.
fun to go to,
Mm-hmm.
because if you're a firearms enthusiast, there's just so much stuff there. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
museum that you can buy shit out of too.
Hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
therein lies the problem. You can go to a gun show and walk out with a freshly bought firearm with hardly any considerable effort,
Mm-hmm.
which is a shame. But I mean, that's how it is.
What I heard was kind of
And
crazy was whether this is true or not, because I don't live in Canada. Is like they would ask like your neighbors around you if you're like violent or whatever for like background checks. I always thought
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of crazy,
see, I
That
don't talk
sounds.
to my
That
neighbors
sounds
all the
hard.
time, so I
That
feel like
yeah, that's what I'm
I
thinking. I'm
would
like
just
my
get
neighbors know
fucked.
nothing about me.
I know they'd
Yeah.
be like, I see him leave his house, and we say wave at each other every once in a while, but
Why don't they
I
look
haven't
at?
seen him
They should
before.
look at you. They should look at Discord DMs, see who you sent the most messages to, and then ask those people. They asked
Uh,
me about Jacob. I'm like, he's got a pretty big anger problem.
yeah, this guy would shoot up
Ooh,
somebody.
put me under a spotlight. I don't know. I'll just have to hoard all my weapons then.
Mm, true.
Government can try and take my SKS from my cold, dead hands. Mm-hmm. No. SKS isn't even that bad of a firearm. We're just talking firearms. That is not an assault weapon. But,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Alright, next story.